Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout this evening is a 4 3-minute rounds contest in the bantamweight division. Firstly, out of the red corner with over 85 contest, his name weighing in at 53.3 kilograms, and tonight he wears the white shorts with red trim. Please welcome from Bradford, Yorkshire, Jake Pollard. And across the ring in the blue corner with 4 wins and 2 draws, weighing in 53 kilograms. And tonight he wears the white shorts. Please welcome from Dagenham, Essex, Kerim Agius. Your referee, Michael Brown, now giving his final instructions.
Okay. You know the rules? No head, under the belt. Obey my command, okay? Good luck. Touch gloves.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 3-minute rounds.
Strong Dagenham connections for Kerim Agius. He started with the Dagenham Police ABC. And he made his name as an amateur with that very shot there, the right hand. He delivered a right hand Sam in an amateur club show in 2018, which apparently went viral all around the world. And I think he started tonight by trying to make it a double.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. They had a little bit of a push and a shove at the weigh-in yesterday, so I know Kerim likes that sort of he likes that sort of hostility with his opponent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs here.
Pollard knows his place in the scheme of things, but where would we be without fighters like Jake Pollard? This is his 88th pro fight tonight, a single victory, and that in itself made headlines. Rightly, July 2023. His first win, conveniently enough, came in his 50th pro fight against Louis Smithson. I'm not saying Louis Smithson was being unusually kind, but anyway, it just shows what a heart all you guys have got, really. And people thought it was great that Pollard had won one.
And Pollard is from Bradford, so he's going to be a tough boy.
Smithson then went about putting the record straight, incidentally, and he won the rematch too. 2 months later.
These boys they fight week in, week out. They make boxing for prospects coming up. Without them, we wouldn't be able to get the experience and learn on the job. So they're a vital part of the boxing community.
Indeed. And this is the point we're trying to make in our opener tonight. You know, if you have to sit it out for 6 weeks or so, everybody's a loser in that respect. 82 times out of 86 defeats, Pollard has heard the last bell, which means he can check his diary after the fight and say, right, next week I'm in
back to work.
Sheffield, then it's Leeds, etc. But here he is in Gibraltar, and every one of the fighters on the card tonight loving the opportunity through this promotion to get a chance to savour this. We repeat, only the 5th professional boxing show ever in the history of Gibraltar. And Agius from the centre of the ring all the way through this first round. It's little more than target practice, Sam, but sometimes I think when it's like that, it's up to the fighter who's obviously the on-top fighter to do a bit more than just showboat from the outside. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but you've also got to stay switched on, because although it does seem like target practice, if you switch off for that one moment, you can be clipped and it could all be over. So, but he's doing the right thing here, Kerim. I mean, it's going to be hard to get his opponent out of there. I mean, like you said, he's barely been stopped. But yeah, he's doing the right thing here. Just like to see him feint a little bit more before he starts going. Just maybe try and get a little reaction out of his opponent, and then dig them shots in.
Been fought at a reasonable pace this first of 4 rounds at bantamweight. Tariq Zaina, over to you.
That was a good round for Agius. You can see he still has a bit of an amateur style. He's still switching with no reason, going from orthodox to southpaw with his hands down. But he's doing good. He's whenever he throws punches, he sits on his shots. And yeah, he's 1 round up so far.
It really has got a big fight feeling, hasn't it, here tonight? You wouldn't know we're in a sports centre. It feels like you're at a Queensbury show. They've done so well, WBM Boxing Management and
Also,
Boxnation.
because we're in Gibraltar and we don't really get much boxing events here, so when it's a big thing when this happens, you know.
Yeah.
Tariq is going to be our expert local guide through the night. There are several Gibraltar connections with the fighters on the card as we go through the night. Starting here with Kerim Agius of Dagenham in our second round at bantamweight. Going to have a little pause in the action here. The gum shield has come out. And of course he's got to scoot across to the neutral corner to get going again, which he does briskly enough. I had a little rant on Talk Sport. I don't know if you heard it, Sam, last week about the amount of fighters I've seen losing the gum shield, losing in inverted commas, twice, 3, 4 times in a round to buy time. I don't think he was doing that there, Pollard, in fairness to him.
No, I mean, I don't even think he wanted them to rinse it off. I think he'd just put it straight back in and he just carried on. But my gum shield's never, I don't think it's ever come out in my career.
Pleased to hear it.
I've got one of them ones that then, I mean, it's harder to pull it out, like to spit it out would be impossible. But yeah, they're.
I had mine fall out one of my fights, and I didn't know that the action carries on after it fell, and I just stopped, and my opponent whacked me with a massive left hook.
Defend yourself at all times.
Yeah, it was a good lesson.
Kerim Agius can walk into range at will, and with the best will in the world, Pollard is never going to be considered a real puncher. He's got to keep on the move, I guess, hasn't he? That's the answer, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to make things awkward, but that's where Kerim needs to be. He needs to be careful when he switches, and he's switching in front of Pollard. He does square up, so that obviously as you square up, the target's a lot bigger. So he does need to be careful. Like he's been clipped again there, but yeah, he's putting some good shots together. I'd just like to see him change the pace of his shots as well. Like maybe tap to the head, then shoot the body, then change the angle. Just do a little bit. There you go, like that.
Pollard is a smart fighter. He throws a big bomb here and there, and that keeps his opponents respecting him. And as you can see, Pollard is mainly in the middle of the ring so far. He's not really been running around surviving, you know.
Well, that's what comes with 88 professional bouts on your card, I guess. And he's not actually had it all his own way in this second round, Agius, which is probably a good thing all round. Made him think a little bit. And he, again, pauses for reflection before he continues.
He still has that amateur style. He's still trying to look good. Where in the pro business, it's about hurting your opponent. It's not about looking good. But, you know, this is what this fight is for, right? So he can learn about the business of things.
Point was made just a moment ago that he's quite square quite a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, as he moves up, he could be punished for that. I mean, if a fighter times him and meets him with a shot, like as he's walking in there, square on, head static, like you will get punished as you go up the levels. So that's where he does need to watch that.
No doubt, Sam, no doubt. That was well said. And this is something that fighters need to learn. When we go from amateur to pro, we need to understand it's not about looking good. It's about hurting your opponent as much as possible and getting the knockout and showing people what you're really about. And Kerim is good. You can see he's a talented kid. He just needs to work on a few things. And but so far he's doing well. He's won both rounds.
What is the main point that you've developed so far in terms of what needs to be thought about?
As in for this fight?
Yeah,
or
no, from Agius' perspective.
I just think he needs to stop worrying about changing his stances often. As you can see, he changes from orthodox to southpaw quite a few times throughout the round, and just set his mind on, okay, I need to get this guy out of there, or I need to beat him on points, and just do his job instead of standing and wondering and observing. As you see, he's done quite a lot with his hands down.
A chance tonight for Kerim Agius to look like a threat in this really stacked British bantamweight division at the moment. This is his 7th pro fight, still at the novice stage in fairness to him, but it would be nice if he could put a few of the others on notice that he's one to keep an eye on, and this has not perhaps gone quite to plan. He's dominating Jake Pollard completely, but Pollard at no point yet, Sam, has looked under any proper pressure, has he?
No, I think with Kerim Starr, I think the more active fighter that's in front of him, he'll obviously he'll perform better himself. It's quite hard to do anything other than what he's doing against opponents that really ain't throwing much, especially when he's obviously an elusive counter puncher. So you need you need some shots to come at you to find the gaps. So I mean, when he does step up the levels, I'll put money on Kerim shining a bit more than he is tonight. But because it is hard work to look polished against these lads that are so experienced.
It's a very fair point you make.
You can see Pollard's got a lot of experience, man. He really, really knows what he's doing in there. You can see everything. He knows his positioning. He throws the hard shot here and there to keep you at bay. Every now and then he throws a little jab. He's really, really well experienced.
And speaking of this bantamweight division, we've got in the first row across from us here in the brilliantly appointed arena, the Europa Sports Complex, we've got the Edwards brothers in attendance tonight, Charlie and Sonny, and of course Charlie's now a top 10 rated bantam. Andrew Kane of course leads the way in Great Britain. There's other real quality fighters aplenty. Ashley Lane, Conor Butler, Harvey Horn is still in there, and there are others. I don't think he's on a scouting mission, either of the Edwards brothers tonight, incidentally, but it's a chance to make a little bit of noise for himself, Agius, in esteemed company like that.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you want to put the division on notice. So the fact you've got two former world champions sat at ringside.
Far side right now as we look.
It's you do want to put that show on and look classy doing it as well.
He's doing all right. He just needs to put the combos together a bit more and not sit on the ropes like he's doing right now, because as you can see, Pollard just landed a couple of shots there.
Doesn't need any more encouragement, does he, Pollard? He knows that's a safe place, doesn't he?
I was just about to say, that was brilliant. He held him with the left hand, hit him about 3 times with the right, and then just held him. So he bought himself about 10 seconds there. They can nick their way through rounds so well, these boys. It's unbelievable.
He's done well in that respect in this round as Pollard, and now, I don't know whether he can hear us or not, but he's at it again.
That was a good round for Pollard, absolutely. You could even argue he won that round, this round 3.
He just threatened to dazzle early on, but he's been made to work every minute of it so far, which again is the prime purpose here tonight. Tariq, over to you.
Good fight so far. You can see Pollard's got a lot of experience. He's a tough kid from Bradford, and he's really giving Agius a good test. As you can see, Agius in the corner, breathing a bit heavy. And this is what you want for your 7th fight, man. You know, this is what you want. It's really good that Pollard is coming at him, and he's not just moving around trying to survive. Agius will take a lot from this fight.
I think it's time for him to step up after this. I think it's around like 7 to 10 fights. You start needing to test yourself against lads that are there to beat you. So I think after this, it's time for him to step up, because he's got the ability, he's got the talent. So, and I think, like I said earlier, the more the threat that's in front of him and the more punches that are being thrown at him, the better he will look.
And all respect to Pollard, he really didn't come to be on the back foot. He's been in the middle of the ring most of the fight.
So the 4th of 4, Agius in front. Pollard had his successes in the 3rd round, not being one-sided by any means, and Agius starts sharp. I think maybe Robert Warren had a little word in the ear while he was doing a bit of dabbing with the towel as well, to say, this is a chance to look good tonight, you know. Make sure you look good.
Yeah, you don't want to wind Robert up either, so he better do as he's told.
I'd be really fascinated to watch this kid in sparring, I think, Agius. To go and watch him in the gym for a few days in a row, to see what kind of level of intensity is going in there.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was breathing heavy on the stall, but he looks to have got a second wind in this round. He's back on the move. He's putting his shots together. But I would like to see him change the pace of his stuff. Everything's very one-paced. There's it's like and put a second phase on that as well. You touch with one shot, then go again. Like as he throws it, you need to. That's the thing with him switching and moving his feet so much. A swing from Pollard, if he takes half a step and he's better with his range, he can punish Pollard for that swing.
Very well said, Sam. Instead of evading shots by moving completely back, just a little lean back, and you can still stay in the danger zone and come back with something.
Yeah, exactly.
Good fight so far, though. Honestly, all respect to Pollard, man. He's really putting Agius go to work here, you know.
The 2 draws on the record for Agius. I don't suspect there's any possibility of making that 3. He's certainly, in terms of output, he's well ahead overall in this fight. That alone should be enough to convince the referee that it is a victory for Agius. However, Pollard is determined to keep him up to his work.
Absolutely. The one thing Agius is doing that is great is really making Pollard miss miserably like he just did there, and that usually looks really good. And you know, usually you can win rounds just making your opponent look bad, and that's exactly what Agius is doing. Although he's not throwing much, like Sam said, I'd like to see him put his shots more together, but he's looking good.
That's the point you made there, Sam, isn't it? When he's square and he throws a big one and he's off balance, he's going to get found out at a higher level, for sure.
And just when he switches and pulls that foot back, he's too far away to capitalise on a mistake by Pollard. So that's a little pointer for him to work on. And like there, he's switching and moving, and his head's high. It's dangerous once you step up the levels, especially like some of the names you mentioned in that division. They will punish him. Like walking forward there and switching his feet at the same time. I know that's his style and that's how he likes to box, but he will get punished doing stuff like that.
Probably a victory, probably still in the comfort zone tonight.
Yeah, he didn't get out of first gear really. I would have liked to have seen him go through the gears a little bit more, but sometimes, like I say, when you've got an opponent in front of you, that's probably got the hardest forearms in the world, because he's just tucking up and he ain't moving. So I mean, he done really well for what was in front of him there. Brilliant.
4 arms, brilliant line by the way. 4 arms and 4 head.
Yeah,
probably.
Exactly.
He takes the shot, doesn't he?
Great fight, and all respect to Pollard. He really came to give it. He did not came to lay over, and he really tested Agius. And like Sam said, he can take a lot of things to work on here, you know, definitely. And one thing I would like to mention, if he's willing to take the pointer, is don't focus on having a little dance and having a little showboat. Focus on hurting your opponent instead of having a little dance. And that in itself can change his mentality. And instead of making an opponent miss and have a dance, you're going to make an opponent miss and come back with something, you know?
Just on that very point, Robert Warren has just exited stage right, but is obviously the esteemed brother, the one and only Mr. Frank Warren. I was reading Frank's comments during the week about, and I hope I'm not misrepresenting what Frank said in any way, I don't believe I am, that the best he ever saw in Britain was Nazim Hamed. And in terms of style, there's a little bit of post-Hamed about Agius tonight, but one very big difference, everybody. Hamed was, pound for pound, the biggest puncher probably in British boxing since the Second World War. Yeah. That's a bit of a difference.
Yes, Hamed was very elusive, but he had a lot of power by.
So we're all set to get the card from Mark Burdis. The final tally is being checked, which might encourage Pollard that he's got something out of this. If so, he would have deserved it, perhaps. Agius is quite convinced that he's won it. There's probably little doubt over the overall outcome.
Never known a card to take so long for a 4-rounder.
It's usually not good when it takes that long.
Yeah, you know, innit?
And still, the check goes on. While we wait, we've got, again, the pleasure of Tariq Zaina's company, and you've got a bit of background info for us here.
Yeah, so ringside right now is my long esteemed first ever boxing coach called Ernest Victory, who started the first ever boxing gym in Gibraltar, and to this day he still runs this gym, and there's still amateur fighters out of that gym. And yeah, just wanted to give him an honorable mention.
Thank you very much.
And the guy fighting on the card tonight, Tyrone, is also started with him.
More later on all of that. Now I think we've got the tally, and it's over to Mark Burdis.
Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with the Maltese Boxing Federation, we don't give scores, we just give the corner. So the winner is the blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Jake Pollard. And our winner now, Kerim Agius.